The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. Missing is available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today, and support the Mike Wagner Show on PayPal and Anchor FM. And also check out the cool merchandise on the Mike Wagner Show for some t-shirts and a lot more. Go to Amazon.com/the Mike Wagner Show and for some great books by Mian Mohsen Zia and for some cool goodies, including pop sockets for your cell phone, iPhone, or anything else, tote bags, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Go to Amazon.com/Mian Mohsen Zia. Order today. We're here with a wonderful lady who is out of New York City, and she is an attorney, the principal attorney for Jill Miller and Associates. And she's not just an ordinary lawyer. She focuses on formulating sophisticated, highly personalized estate plans, also wills, and also guide you through the process. In these times, it can be a simple will or it can be very complicated. And this lady will show you how to do that and take a very detailed approach. And she also be happy to answer any questions that you have once you meet with this wonderful lady. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, the principal attorney for Jill Miller and Associates, ladies and gentlemen, the very talented Jill Miller. Jill, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mike. And my dad would be very proud to hear all of the compliments that you've given me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on as well, too. And I love to learn more about what you do, along with those tuning into the Mike Wagner Show over 30 podcast platforms. You can do it on YouTube, or if you're in the car and you want to listen on your smartphone, MP3, or you plug in, you can also do that. And of course, you also have principal of Jill Miller and Associates. You specialize in formulating sophisticated wills and estates, and also you also do trusts and litigations and a lot more. And you're here to talk about the processes, what you do. And before we get into all that, tell us how you first got started.
Sure. So, I always found the human story and other people's lives very interesting. Also, I'm a big connector. I love connecting with people, and in trust and estates, which is, really great, is that you actually can move the needle. Like, you help people on an individual basis. So, my career started off with, I went to Cornell undergrad, got a concentration in accounting and finance. And then I went to Cornell Law School, and I found out that I did really, really well in my trust and estates and my tax classes.
Wow.
And so, I said, okay, this must be telling me something. And I also still remember like some of, one particular class that stood out in my mind that was just really intriguing, again, about the human story, really cool, interesting tales. It was like an undue influence case where it was said the person lack of capacity. And they said that the decedent thought there were people living in his teeth and he was talking to them. And so therefore the will should be thrown out because he didn't have capacity. And the court, I wound up finding that there was a lucid interval that during this time that thought people lived in his teeth, there was that period of time where it was okay. And the will was valid because, one interesting fact about trust and estates is that to write a valid will, there's a big public policy that they want it to be valid. They want to make it easy. Yes, it's good to go to a lawyer, but you don't have to. And so the government policy really bends over backwards to favor wills and admit them when they can. So, hence that story about people living in the teeth. I finished Cornell Law School, graduate with honors. My dad was really proud. I guess my family was too. Got my master's in tax from NYU here in New York City. Not all trust and estates attorneys get that. Just those that really want to deal with the estate and gift tax planning, to deal with the more sophisticated questions. So I did get that. And then I started my career in big law, working for a big firm. And then eventually I wound up, after the birth of my second child, starting my own firm. And as of January 1st of this year, it is 17 years.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And me being my own boss. And it was, it's really great because I can decide, how I want to help my clients and, do whatever changes I need to make and service however I want to without, going through lots of levels of red tape.
Yeah, as in taking some time off, go to the doctor, go vacation and everything. I think that's the ultimate American dream that people are pursuing. And with the economy these days, it seems very difficult as well, unfortunately. But however, that in these uncertain times, and it's getting more crucial than ever, why is it more important than ever to have a will and also to have an estate and also to basically just get solidified, especially during these hard times?
Well, that is an excellent question, Mike. Thanks for asking that. In fact, Why is estate planning important? It's so important. It's always important, but it's been especially important right now. In fact, since this pandemic, I must have done probably upwards of 10 to 12 estate planning seminars, targeted at protecting your family during this pandemic, essential estate planning documents. Because with, the pandemic, and it has raised people's awareness of disability, of what happens if something happens to me. So, people are really concerned about that. So, as people sometimes think, oh, estate planning is only for the super wealthy, and it isn't. It's really for every single person.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things, if you become disabled, say someone is sick in the hospital, how are they going to get their bills paid? If they're sick and they can't speak for themselves, who will speak for them? So having a proper estate plan, is crucial. So let me just kind of, go over the different components. When people think of estate plan, think of a will. Oh, and only if I have a big lot of money do I need one, and that's so not true.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a will, then the government decides, what their, how your stuff is going to be distributed, and that could cause significant problems. I have a couple like little stories that I could kind of, circle back to later, but I just want to get the point across that, you don't have to have a lot of money to do estate planning. And in fact, right now, I'm currently the director of the estate planning clinic at Cornell Law School, where we do free estate plans for the underserved community.
Mm-hmm.
And, these people, come from modest backgrounds, and we're doing these essential, crucial documents. So one of a big point is taking care of minor children. So if you have minor children that you're taking care of, that's the most common. Or what happens if there's some elderly parent you're helping out, and all of a sudden you're incapacitated? What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
So having that power of attorney is key. So power of attorney is where, say, you would name somebody that you trust to manage your financial affairs if you became disabled. And there's two types. One is the most practical, called the durable power of attorney, which means you're signing it today,
Mm-hmm.
and it would outlast your disability. So if all of a sudden someone got hit by the proverbial bus or they got sick, you have someone that's right there waiting to write the checks, go online, take care of your stuff. So that way, when you get back on your feet, your Netflix account isn't shut off, or be able to take care of all of your bills and everything. So the power of attorney is really essential. Durable, the most practical. And like between husband and wife, you usually give it between husband and wife, or spouses or domestic partners. And if you have a joint account, you have that power anyway.
Mm-hmm.
One word of caution on that's really important for your listeners to kind of take away is a power of attorney can be a legal license to steal. Let me say that again, because it's really important. A power of attorney can be a legal license to steal. So it's really important. You're very thoughtful on who you should name on this important role.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very key. The next important document that's really, really, highlighted in today's, with the pandemic is the healthcare proxy. With the healthcare proxy, you are going to be naming someone now as your healthcare agent. So if you are sick and you can't speak for yourself, that person will speak for you. Now, if you've done a living will, which is another important document, a living will basically says, if I'm in a terminal condition with no hope of recovery, what kind of treatment do I want and what kind of treatment do I not want? So here we'll see people saying, Jill, if I have no chance of recovery, and I'm terminally ill, I don't want to be kept alive with machines and needles and a tube.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want that. So your healthcare agent, if you've signed a living will, would then bring the living will to the doctors in the hospital and say, look, I need to enforce the living will. So let me pause there. So for the healthcare proxy, an important point for your listeners is that you can only name one person at a time. because I've had clients say, oh, I want to name both my children. Or how about my spouse, and my oldest child? It's like, no, you can only have one person at a time. Because, if you think about it, what happens if one person says, oh, turn off all life support, another person says no, it could be a real sticky situation. So, you name one person, and you also have a backup, and that's very important. Really, on this point, also extremely important to be very, very thoughtful on who that person should be for you. One example is a couple of years ago in my class when we were doing the estate plans for people in need, I had a law student say, Professor Miller, I can't be part of the signing of a client's living will because it's against my religion.
That's a very good point.
Yes. Yeah, it's important. I mean, so there's no right or wrong answers on the living will. So people may say, you know what, I want to be kept alive by all means possible. That's okay. Some people will say, this is how I envision, my departure, and that's fine. If you have the chance of putting down what you want. Some people may even supplement that and do kind of end of life guidance. I went to a seminar once where it was they had a family meeting, and it was kind of grandpa said, look, there are two things I love in life, football and ice cream. And if I'm not well enough to enjoy both, then it's time to let me go. It was, done in jest, but, the point is taken that it's good to have these family meetings and discuss this. Actually, if people have a pen out there or an iPad or something, there's a great public organization, a charity called the conversationproject.org. And I'm going to repeat that because it's really great. The conversationproject.org. And that is a charitable organization that helps support people in having these family meetings, these tough discussions, and to give them guidance on choosing the right person. I actually used a clip from it in my class, a really a neat piece on 60 Minutes, where Diane Sawyer is sitting in on this beautiful family meeting of 4 generations. And great grandpa is talking about, I've lived a really good life, and, if I'm sick and something happens, this is what I want. And it wasn't gloom and doom or miserable. Everybody else started chiming in. It's well, this is what I would want, or this is what I want. And studies have shown, Mike, that when families give the gift of having this conversation, when the person is gone, there's less bitterness, there's less unfinished business. It really is, a gift to the family. So people aren't well, what did mom want, or what did dad want? And this is what I remember. This is what I remember. And then people have this guilt and feeling unsettled. But so this is when people do have the conversation, it does make things clear and much easier. And that website, theconversationproject.org, that has some great materials for that.
It does sound like it too with the conversationproject.org, and that's pretty much the first thing before you drop a will is basically sit down and have a very serious conversation. Yeah.
And also think about who the different people should be in your plan. So for your will, you're going to have an executor, and the executor is the person when you're no longer around, collects all the assets, pays off all the debts, sets up trust for your minor children if you have any. You always want to you can name more than one person, and you should have an alternate. And there's some practical factors as well. If you're in New York, maybe it wouldn't make sense to name your, adult daughter that's in Hong Kong for the next couple of years. Maybe you might want to have a child that lives in Connecticut, right? It's a place closer to you from a practical standpoint. It doesn't mean the child in Hong Kong can't be let know what's going on, but you want to have the person be able to come here, get the mail, do a lot of groundwork. And then comes the trustee, and the trustee is the person that manages the money for the beneficiary. Typically, I see the trusts are for minor children. Those are the most common. But really interesting, Mike. Nowadays, I'm kind of part of the sandwich generation, whereas you have your adult, you have your grown person individual, and we have minor children that we're taking care of, and then we have our parents that we're taking care of, like kind of in the middle, taking care of like both parties. And so now I'm seeing, some more on children that are helping take care of their parents. And it's something, because they're a caretaker, and then, people are living longer, and they're living longer in like somewhat disabled, not 100%, and that's, normal. And they need to be able to take care of mom or dad. And so we're looking at trusts for not only minor children, but also for adult parents if that child has been the caretaker.
It's interesting to talk about having children that take care of their parents. Has this been going on for quite some time, or is it pretty much a change from over the years where you have the traditional model from, way back when, compared to now that children are more willing to step up?
I think I think I've seen it more now. Like I've been doing this now for a bunch of years. I won't say how long.
Me neither. It's a
secret.
Here, you can text me. It's okay.
So I actually see more of this now, and I think it's a combination of people are really living longer. Like our medical technology, is and treatments have increased. I think I read something the other day that like the cancer deaths are down.
Wow.
I'm part of the Plan Advisory Council, American Heart Association, and they've done a bang up job in raising awareness and good heart health and stroke and reducing those risk factors and knowing your numbers. And so people are living longer. Went to a seminar pre-COVID where they had a really, really interesting program on life expectancy. But this life expectancy report is based on wealth, and they told everybody their findings was that the folks that are the top echelon of wealth, which by the way is not just Bill Gates, there's a lot of, you don't have to be that high, in your mind to have that. I think maybe an income over like $100,000 a year or a net worth over $1 million. Your life expectancy is actually close to 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that kind of shifts things. So you're thinking like, oh, I need to do an estate plan. Now our time horizon has added a whole bunch of years where those later years, you may not be 100%, or maybe you don't want to be paying your bills. You took care of your kids or whoever, and now it's time for you to like sit on the beach, and they can manage your stuff for you. Along with this, and I do want to raise the listeners, awareness, because this is such an important thing, is with this life expectancy that's an increase, and also a higher likelihood that people, are not 100%, or I don't want to say cognitively impaired, but just like when you were, your 5K time, isn't the same at 70 as it was when you were running in college, right? Your eyesight's not as great. Your hearing is not as great. And it also studies that have shown that your ability to make like really good financial decisions also is somewhat impacted. So unfortunately, and almost everybody I know has heard of some story, the financial abuse of older adults is skyrocketed. I mean, it is a really, really big problem. Unfortunately, something like only 1 out of 23 cases is even reported, and the opportunists out there come in every shade and color and ingenuity on trying to take advantage. And unfortunately, very often people don't find out that mom or dad was stolen from until after the ship has sailed. And so a good part nowadays for estate planning is having these protections.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, we don't, your loved one is not a victim of the financial abuse of older adults.
Mm-hmm.
To that end, let me raise your awareness of this other fabulous website out there. And it's the Jeanette and Henry Weinberg Center, the Weinberg Center on Elder Justice.
Elder Justice.
Elder Justice, the Weinberg Center on Elder Justice. So it's a great website with with information about this issue and some steps that you can do to help yourself, and also warning signs. Here in New York, they had a campaign to kind of educate doormen in the building when they have these strangers, walking grandma or other people coming in to these people's apartment. I mean, it really is a big problem. You might say, well, what can you do? Like, what planning can you do to protect mom or dad? And if you're an older adult yourself from people coming in and taking advantage. And my favorite go-to estate planning technique is a revocable living trust.
Irrevocable living trust.
Revocable living trust. Mm-hmm. And the way it works is that you set this up now during your lifetime. Like, the trust is an alter ego of you. It's completely tax neutral. You're a trustee, and depending on your age and what's going on in your life, maybe you might want an adult child to be co-trustee with you, or maybe it's just a successor. I had one client that was diagnosed with a degenerate disease where it would affect their cognitive ability, and I'm like, let's bring in the trusted person now. And we have them as a co-trustee. We put all of the assets into the trust, and then they manage it, and they can go online and see the statements. They have alerts. So ATM, $100. Well, what happened? Money's going out. What happened? You find out, quickly, as opposed to, later after this person has helped themselves. I remember one story I'll share with you of a matter which broke my heart. So there was mom, living in New York City, been in the same building for 40 years. Her best friend down the hall, she gave power of attorney because the adult children were off in other states. They left New York City. And so this trusted friend had power of attorney, took mom to the doctor, got mom her medication, had power of attorney, paid mom's bills. And they never looked into anything because she was a trusted friend for over 40 years. After mom died, she found out that this friend was writing checks out of mom's account, $1,000, $2,000 cash to her family members, to herself. They turned it over to the police, and they did get a judgment. They sued her, but at this point, all the money was gone. So it's kind of like, and she had a gambling problem as well that nobody knew about. So, it's kind of like winning the battle, but losing the war. Like, okay, you have this victory, but there's no money to get because it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, case in point, take care of it now. Particularly vulnerable are my widows or widowers. For, another, sad, upsetting story where mom died and dad was by himself and was very, very lonely. And the kids got him a computer and got him on Facebook, and he started going on these different, groups, and he met up with this nice lady. And do you like walks in the woods? Yeah, I like walks in the woods. And do you like sunrises? Yeah, I like sunrises. And then, she said, let's take this, privately, and spoke to him about, let's be together. Let's build our dream house. And, don't tell your kids. It'll be a surprise for them. And send me money in Visa cards.
Oh.
And so he was just sending money in Visa cards. And the way they found out is that he fell and hurt himself and was brought to the hospital. And in his pockets were all these Visa cards that he was going to send to her.
Oh my gosh.
And then the family found out and they uncovered it was a complete scam. This person never really existed, turned it over to the police. They didn't find them, but he was out, significant sums. So, people are just, so crafty, these opportunists. So I think, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Mm-hmm.
So, having that living trust, or having these alerts set up on your accounts could make all the difference, for that family member.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. And another question that popped up before we go break. And what about a person that that is all by himself? It's like the last person in the family, like say the oldest person, like parents died, children died, and cousins and aunts and uncles are all gone. And like he's the only person. It's like, is there a possible living will for him, estate, and how is that handled?
That's another great question. Thank you. That is, there are people out there that are the last ones standing, and, what are they going to do? Who's going to be their healthcare agent? Who's going to take care of their bills or look out for them if they become disabled or live, 8 or 9 years, but not, easily vulnerable. And that's where we start talking about having a professional person that's involved. So there are banks, there are trust companies, or maybe, a friend that's a lawyer or your accountant. I love if a person has a good relationship with an accounting firm and they've known them, mm-hmm. They're great because they've known the client for years. They know all about keeping good books and records. They all know about responsibility. They have their license on the line. And if it's a firm that has people of different ages, if one person is old and retires, somebody else can take over. So you would have a professional person, be that person. Occasionally, if it's a client of mine and they don't have anybody else, I'll say, okay, I will be your person and be your protector. But it's most of the time we'll find another professional person. Again, I love my accountants. And a bank or trust company, they pay, they have got unlimited liability, they have perpetual life, they have systems in place, and they can make sure that the person is protected.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important too, because the reason why I ask, because I have a good friend of mine that he's a musician, and he also he's basically just the last man standing, and he worried about who's gonna know that if I pass away. So yeah. That's a question that I want to get out there for those who are just last man standing or know someone like that, or those in situations. Jill is a really good person to talk to, and we'll talk to Jill Miller in just a few minutes about about the seminars, what else she can do, and some other things. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosin-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Mosin-Zia, available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. Missing is a fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and one target, where truth is an illusion, and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosin-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Mosin-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today, and support the Mike Wagner Show on PayPal, also Anchor FM/support. And also you can check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise, cool t-shirts, and a lot more at Amazon.com/Mike Wagner Show. And from some great books and great gift ideas, you can go to Amazon.com/Mia and order today. We're here with the principal of Jill Miller and Associates, Jill Miller, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And we talked about estates, wills, the type of living wills, type of estate, and what to do, and how to go about it, and shared some stories. And before we get back to some other things you do, and also some seminars on how you teach. And there's one thing I was going to ask, but we got to talking about the estates, wills, and everything. And how'd you first get interested in getting into law?
Oh, well, thanks. So I actually grew up in a very, very humble background, and came from a divorced family, and started working probably when I was 14 years old, help pay some of the bills. And, and I was just kind of looking around and like, what can I do? It was a very tough situation. Like, I remember probably dating myself, but I was making $3.35 an hour.
We can all relate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, working the midnight.
And they're done that.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, what could I do that I would always be able to take care of myself and my family? And, what are those types of jobs? And also, since I like helping people, I've always been a connector. And each client victory is a victory for me. Like, sometimes when I get good resolutions, in state administration with the IRS, or other working things out between parties that are fighting, sometimes I'm more excited than they are. But so that's so I looked around the different options for me as growing up. And what I once thought was about, maybe being a doctor, but then quickly changed my mind when, I found out that I'm afraid of blood and actually faint at times.
Oh, yeah. I think there's many people out there, including yours truly. So
big baby right here.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't in. And, I think my dad said that my grandfather, who died before I was born, had always wished for my father to be a tax attorney. And so I kind of had that little seed. And actually doing wills and trusts, I'm an estate tax attorney. So I'm actually kind of a tax attorney, because I'll deal with some clients that have very sophisticated estate and gift tax issues, and so I can help them with that. So and again, I found the human story just more interesting than mine. So like in trusted estates, you have to ask people all of the impolite questions, who gets along with who, how much money you have, what do you have, do you have any side girlfriends, boyfriends, secret families, all that stuff, and because if you don't do it, you're not doing your job. So, and also I would say, when I'm listening to people's journeys, I always find something that I learned from people, different backgrounds, different, their different tales of success, and some things of hardship that you've learned from. So, I enjoy, helping people, learning about their lives and their family. And then the creative part of me is figuring out a way to achieve their objectives, in my big tool bag of, we could try this, we could try that. And also with an underlying of like how it will work in the real world.
When you mentioned about the tool bag, maybe you think of Felix the Cat back in the day with the magic bag of tricks, like pull something out and problem solved.
Yeah, that's right. Because, it's interesting when people think, trust and estates is just about money. It really is about so much more, Mike. And in fact, sometimes most part of my conversation about these non-money items, like, for example, all right, I'm going to do my will. I'm going to leave it to my two children. I'm going to name them both as executors. They don't really get along. They haven't really talked to each other in the last couple of years. But you know what? When I'm gone, they'll figure it out and they'll work it out together. I'm confident. Bad idea. Bad idea.
I know some people who are like that. It's like they just
Yeah.
leave it, they fight, and it's like one's dead and the other's like, oh, okay, I get everything, but then you turn out it's like, no, I don't think so. It goes to like a pet or whatever it is. And I've even heard stories where families just leave everything to pets, and tragically the children get nothing. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
Fido, you're a millionaire.
yep. I mean, you can legally disinherit your children. That you can do it, and it's one of those things that's just not talked about, but it's actually sadly more common than one would think.
Mhm.
Although I'm an optimist, like even when I have families that have cut out a child, which I'm a big believer that time is the great healer, and there's always room to mend the fence and bridge the gap. And I've now practiced enough to see that where someone was, there was a strained relationship or no relationship, and then eventually they come back and they forget the past and just move towards the future, and they forgive. And as a non-legal point, like I think forgiveness is one of the biggest gifts someone can give to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of this anecdote where I don't know if it's from Confucius or from my rabbi or from some of these other stories where someone does something wrong to you and you're really, really angry and you're like standing in the doorway of your house with this hot coal ready to throw it at them. And they're just walking around, having a good time, and you're just standing there while this coal gives you second-degree burns.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just better to drop the coal and, forgive them because you're really forgiving yourself, and to, try to just focus on the future and the things that are good for you and your family.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good point too. And of course, the thing about taxes that popped up as well too. And of course, that tax time doesn't happen around, before April, was it April 15th, 16th or somewhere around there, or
Yep.
on that, it can happen afterwards, or flows, the final extension happened, in October. I think it's 16th or 17th or something. I've
Yep.
never filed an extension, but, tax planning, that's also important as well too. And, maybe some of the, types of, tax estates you're dealing with, like, from the simple up to the
Yeah.
complicated, and, some of the things are also tied to the estate and will planning.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Mike. Another good one. I tell my students there are two systems of taxation: one for the informed and one for the uninformed.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that's informed pays a lot less, and legitimately. So, like from estate tax point of view, you work with someone like me or one of my colleagues. The estate tax is very avoidable legally.
Really?
There are benefits and deductions and techniques out there that you can take advantage of if you choose to educate yourself and do them. Income tax is a little bit more tricky, but again, having a good accountant and letting them know, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can maximize that. I know we're probably running out of time soon, but
you got time. Don't worry.
Okay, all right, but I wanted to give you your folks, one really good tax takeaway, and that is when you're receiving a gift from somebody,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's during lifetime or let's say, okay, Mike, great knowing you, thank you, I'm going to give you a gift for $10,000.
Uh-huh.
That's not income to you.
Mm.
Or on my death, I give it to my children. That's not income to them.
Mm.
Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, you get what's called a step up in basis of death. So if I have grandma, okay, and grandma has a house and a stock portfolio that she's been living in her New York City co-op apartment, for 45 years. She bought it at $20,000. Now it's worth $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a stock portfolio that she's been investing and really been scrimping and saving. And maybe she bought it at $50,000 and now that's worth $1 million. So if she gave it away during her lifetime to her grandchild, the basis, which for capital gains purposes, is carryover basis. So her basis of what she paid for is going to be the grandson's basis. So if the grandson gets the gift and then sells it, they have this big capital gain. Now, if we waited instead that grandma wills it to grandson, he'll get all of it. those assets basis is reset at death to the full fair market value. And if grandson sells it the next day, there is zero capital gains. And the federal state tax exemption amount is $11.7 million. In New York, the state exemption amount, which, by the way, changes from state to state. That right now is 5.93 million, like rounded up to 6 million. So you get it estate tax free and income tax free. So bottom line takeaway, if grandma wants to give you her house now, depending on how much she has, tell her, wait, give it to me at death. So that way I get that step up in basis. And you haven't given me the capital gains along with the gift, which would be a big bummer.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. And we'll talk more about taxes as well, too. We'd love to have you back on. And when it comes to tax time and other things with real estate and what's coming up for Jill Miller and Associates and more, you listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs, and brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Motion-Zia of the book Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. We'll be back with Jill Miller of Jill Miller and Associates after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mia Motion-Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzia.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with Jill Miller of Jill Miller and Associates, the principal attorney here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a lot of great information we discussed about estate planning, wills, and what to do in these situations, and also some taxes as well too. Good for tax time. We're going to have her back as well too with more information and a lot more. And just a few things with Jill. We'd love to have you back, and you've just been absolutely amazing. And what's your website, and how can we find more about you, and how can people connect with you?
Well, thanks, Mike. I guess, first of all, I'd like to, let my listeners, let your listeners know, and people are listening to
and your listeners too, yes.
Yeah. So there are going to be a bunch of free estate planning webinars that my class at Cornell Law School will be putting on this spring.
Okay.
That's going to be, end of April.
Okay.
And they can find out more about it. They can email me at jmiller@mtrustlaw.com. That's jmiller@mtrustlaw.com. They're going to be free. They're going to be webinars. My law students are going to be putting on these great estate planning seminars. They're probably going to be an hour, maybe an hour and a half. There'll probably be a workshop piece where people can get free living wills and healthcare proxies. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be having 3 of them. And if there's anybody out there that has their own, civic group or religious group or other charitable group that might be interested in, having one of my students give a free estate planning seminar. Also, please feel free to reach out to me, because that is also going to be an option as well for some of the students to do smaller webinars. I mean, in every tragedy, sometimes you have to look hard for a silver lining. With this terrible pandemic and everybody's doing things on Zoom. For my class, I found that now we don't have to be in Ithaca.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just limited to helping people in Ithaca. Now we can help people anywhere. And as long as you have a computer or an iPhone or iPad and you can beam in, you're very much welcome to join and your friends. And, we're trying to help as many people as possible.
And that's so amazing. We're glad you're offering this great service as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
In my career, greatest influence. That's a tough one. I would say, kind of back to what I was saying before, I grew up in a very disadvantaged background. I started babysitting, I think at 13 or 14. Back then they didn't check your ID to make sure that you are legally able to work. So I was working the midnight movie in Fort Lauderdale and helping support, being able to pay for my own school lunch and helping support the family. So I think that, being able to pay for myself, and my family, no matter what would happen, was a motivator. And also, along the way, some of the kindness, people have shown me to help me, and the connections that I had, helping people, is a huge gift. It also makes you feel good. Mm-hmm. And being able to do that, the combination of those two, I think was what, made me focus on this. And I consider myself blessed that I'm able to do this job, and it's, and I don't hate Sunday nights, and it's been really great.
That is fantastic. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Best advice is make sure you have an estate plan. Mm-hmm. If you haven't done it, if you have never done one, get one. If you have done one, don't think it's one and done, that you take it, you stick it in a drawer, and you forget about it. You should be looking at this plan every 5 years, or if there's a big change in your family. Someone died, someone's incapacitated, you moved states, someone got divorced, someone's been diagnosed with some sort of illness or disability. Never think that, I'm doing a plan, I did it, I'm off the hook forever, I'm one and done. No, you need to take it out of the drawer, brush it off, look at it and say, if something should happen today, does this work for me and my family?
Mm-hmm. That's very important as well. Once again, we're with Jill Miller of Jill Miller and Associates on the Mike Wagner Show. Jill, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on 2021 and beyond. And once again, tell us about where can we find you, what's your website, and how can people get a hold of you, and also seminars.
Okay, great. So www.mtrustlaw.com. You could always Google me, Jill Miller and Associates in New York City. By the way, I have a huge amount of free educational materials on my website, also things that I've authored. You can just go on the website or call the office, and they can give you the username and password. They're all free. A whole slew of educational videos on living trust, basics of estate planning, the basics of estate administration. And so happy to help everybody out there and their 100 closest friends.
That is so amazing. Once again, Jill, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch. We love to have you back. You've been absolutely terrific. Learned a lot from you.
Great. Pleasure. Thank you, Mike.
Hey, everybody. My name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.